Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NOVAL PUTRA PRATAMA. So today I will introduce my themes. There's a Grace Margareth Petricia Sitompul and ARTHALAINI LIMBONG. We'll be explaining about Indonesian law, politics, and implementation of the Convention Geneva 1949 concerning the symbol of the Red Cross.
Hello, my name is Grace. I want to explain about history of Convention, the historical background of the birth of the 1949 Geneva Convention cannot be separated from the event. The World War II, which ended in 1949, which while great include were recent to consciousness of the world protect victims of war. Explaining civilians, by therefore, the countries finally agree to make the Geneva Convention for 1949, namely the Convention connecting by protection of the civilian person at the time war. The Geneva Convention includes 4 statements and 3 addition protocol that set standard in international law regarding the humanitarian treatment for the victims. The term Geneva Convention is its singular form, refers to 1949, where the result of negotiation concluded after World War II. Their assignment include the rewards of the proposition of their existing agreements and the adoption of the fourth assignment, the formulation of the 1949.
Okay, so I'll continue the explanation of the Red Cross. So we're now talking about the relevant Indonesian legislation. The legal, political basis in terms of philosophical, sociological, and formal constitutional is a legal politics that contains legal reform effort with Pancasila and the 1945 Constitution as a basic law, which is a guide in a national legal politics in order to maintain the integrity of a nation, the development of a democracy that is socially just based on the principle of a civilized religious tolerance. Establishment of Law Number 25 of 2004 concerning the system national development planning is a state in a name the form of a long-term development plan, or you could call RPGP. Every 20 years, the RPGP described in the medium-term development plan, or you can say RPGM, namely 5 years time scale planning that includes the vision, mission, and the program development. Since 2004, a law has been made in a national legislation program, or you can call PROLIGNAS. After the ratification of the Geneva Convention, Indonesia legal politics is directed by the purpose of implementing the convention by forming a series of implementation regulations, including the purpose of a bill on international symbol PROLIGNAS as one of the bill's priority in the development plan medium term, or you could call RPGM, from 2010 to 2014 and continue like 2015 to 2019 period. PROLIGNAS is a policy that determines the direction, purpose, and the content of the law, reflect Indonesian legal politics, include the legal politics in the dealing with international agreement that has been ratified by Indonesia. The elucidation of the Red Cross Bill Article 28.e actually constitution a violation of a province of the 1949 Geneva Convention, because essentially in every country that is part of a convention, there can only be one national association which is recognized by the legitimate government, and there may only be one type of a protection symbol which correspond to the emblem used by the official armed force. Indonesia has promulgated Presidential Decree Number 25, 1950, which appointed PMI as the only humanitarian organization carrying out this mandate, and perfected it with Presidential Decree Number 246, 1963, while BSMI is an ordinary humanitarian organization, so it is not an official national association from Indonesia. those normative in the Red Cross bill, there are several types of violence. With the inclusion of the explanation of a point E in the education of Article 28 of a bill, namely, the first is violation of the provisions of Article 26 of the 1949 Geneva Convention, which Indonesian must comply with by use by the symbol for only one national association recognized by the government. Name is this case PMI. Number 2, violation of the provisions of Article 53, paragraph 1 of the Geneva Convention, which has prohibited the use of a symbol or the designation Red Cross or Cross Geneva by individual, association, good company or trading company, government and private, other than those entitled under the convention. Number 3, violation against Article 54 of Convention 1 and Article 45 Convention 2, which state that if legislation is not ready, participating countries, the Geneva Convention must at all times take persuasion and eradication of abuse Red Cross symbol. My name is Noval. I will continue what my friends tell you about the Geneva Convention. Okay, now we are talking about the relevant Indonesian legislation. The legal political basis in the terms of philosophical, sociological, and formal constitutional in a legal politics that contain legal form effort with the Pancasila and the 1945 Constitution as basic law, which is a guide in a national legal politicals in order to maintain the integrity of a nation, the development of a democracy that is socially just and based on the principle of a civilized religious tolerance. The establishment of law number 25 of 2004 concerning the system national development planning is stated in the form of a long-term development plan, or you can call RPGP. Every 20 years, the RPGP described in the medium-term development plan, or you could say is a RPGM, namely 5-year time scale planning that includes the visions, mission, and program development. Since 2004, a law has been made in the national legislation programs, or you can call pro-legnes. After the ratification of the Geneva Convention, Indonesia legal politics is directed by the purpose of implementing the convention by form a series of implementing regulation, include purpose a bill on in-term symbols, pro-legnes as one of Billy priority in development plan medium term, or you could say RPGM, from 2010 to 2014 and continue in the 2015 to 2019. Pro-legnes is a policy for determine the direction, purpose, and the content of a law, reflect Indonesian legal politics, include legal politics in the dealing with international agreement that has been ratified by Indonesia. Okay, next is case law relevant to the implementation of the convention. Political factors turn out to have an effect on legal politics in the formation of the rules of implementing the Geneva Convention on the Red Cross symbol. This is reflected in the battle about symbol, institution, management, and sources of funding. The preference for the independence of a national association on a self-fund basis that does not interfere with APBN funds in one of the association in the determining national society. The desire of some faction to recognize the Indonesian Red Crescent, or you could say BSMI organization, which use the Red Crescent symbol as a national association in addition to PMI, of course, shows the misunderstanding of some number of the DPR on the actual legal issues, because based on the binding statute of the movement, There may only be one official nation society in the country that has ratified the Geneva Convention. These factions are of the view that the shape of the Red Cross is a symbol that relates to the certain religion, namely Catholicism, while the fact on the ground shows that the majority of Indonesians are Muslim. The assumption that the ideological nouns cannot avoid it because of the Red Cross symbol, it looks like a cross, a symbol that is used in Catholic religion. It's different from the normative fact that the number of countries that have been ratified the Geneva Convention, such as Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bosnia, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, or Malaysia, use the red crescent symbol with the consideration that Islam is the state religion based on the respective constitution of these countries. Temporary status Indonesia, which has ratified by the Convention of Geneva 1949 and PMI participation as a member of the movement bound to movement statute, the Geneva Convention themselves have prohibited the use of a symbol or the design Red Cross or the Cross Geneva by individual, association, good company or trading company, government and private. Besides that, the replacement of the Red Cross symbols with another symbol is considered disrespectful.
D. Conclusions. Republic of Indonesia in implementing the rules of the 1949 Geneva Convention concerning the Red Cross emblem is greatly influenced a number of factors, namely political factors that reflect in the interests of political parties in the factions in parliament, and also socio-ideological factors which are a very strong influence factor in the process of forming legal political law leading to Red Cross symbol. These two factors can cause product conflicting and inconsistent laws with the prevailing laws and regulations, so that very product of religion product must still pay attention to consistency with other statutory provisions and adjust socio-political and ideological influence in line with Pancasila and the 1945 Constitution.